Hello and welcome to episode 60 of Things I've Learned from Barry Harris. And today I thought we would start a thing where I just made a few short videos talking about how to create lines using some of the things you've been practicing. So for instance, today we'll talk about D7 and D7 scale and all the things you're supposed to practice on D7 scale. But we'll focus on two primary things of practice, which would be triads with a half step below the first note and pivots. So I'll demonstrate a couple of them. Here's a D D7 scale, and here are the triads in D7 scale. And for those of you who don't know how to do a triad, it's starting on a note, going up the scale, skipping the second note, playing the third note, skipping another note, playing the fifth note. So now you got this is the first one. And then you have to do the same thing coming down. Now already, if that gives you some problems, stop the video right there and really try to get that together. So I'm happen to doing it, I know there's no fret markers, but I happen to be doing it starting with the second finger on the 5th fret if you're a guitar player. You should also know how to do it starting with the pinky. You should also know how to do it starting with the first finger on the D. Same thing with the pinky on the 10th fret of the 6th string. Anything that we work on, you should know how to do it in all these different positions on the guitar. So we'll focus on just the triads, which we're going to put a half step below each first note. So the first triad, we're going to put a half step below that. Second triad. Third triad. Fourth one, half step below. Fifth triad. Sixth. Seventh. Back to the first one. Then we'll start and we'll do a half step now below the top note and come down. So maybe we'll do this. Let's see. There's the first one. Then we'll do the second one. Next one. Next one. Next one. Next one. Next one. Next one. So back to the first one again. So now we got, if we were going to do them starting from here. Pretty exercise. Now that's the first thing I want us to think of. The second thing I want us to think of is what Barry calls a pivot. So D7 scale. And let's do chords up. Now the chord will be like a triad, except you're skipping another note and adding the last note. So here would be the first chord. Skip the next note, skip the next note, skip the next note. So here's the chord. That's what Barry calls a chord. So now what a pivot is we're going to take the first note, play it where it normally is, and instead of playing the next three notes, we're going to play those next three notes an octave lower. So now we got this. So instead of this, we have this. And we're going to do that all the way up the scale. So if we say, last one. So thinking about just those two things, if you don't have those together, practice them. Stop the tape here and practice them. But now let's try to put some of these together. So if we said the first thing, let's say half step below the first triad starting on D, but we're going to put a half step below and we'll say 1, 2, 3, 4. So there's the first one. So now maybe we'll add a pivot on after the next note. So we'll say, so there's our pivoted chord. So if we said 1, 2, 3, pretty D7 phrase. And then add something else to it. But see, this is already something that you're working on to create a phrase. Maybe we'll do 2 of them. That's pretty. So we'll do 2 of the triads with the half step below, and then we'll do 1 of the pivots. So we'll say, come down the scale. Now here's where we'll pivot a chord. Instead of saying, we say, so now we'll say 1, 2, 3, 4. Pretty D7 phrase. 1, 2, 3. Really beautiful. But this is the concept behind practicing these things. Is taking, well, let's take another one. Let's do down from here. That's pretty. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's a beautiful D7 phrase. 1, 2, 3. See, all these things work so nicely. I'm not even going to mess with resolving it to G major or G7, or you could also resolve it to D flat major or D flat minor. I'm not even messing with it. Just figure out pretty ways to play D7. You know, just anything that you normally practice. And in this particular instance, we're taking just those 2 things, which is the half step below the triads and the pivoting chords, and see how many little combinations you can come up with. What happens if we pivoted a chord first and then we did the triad? So what if we said, that's nice, that's a beautiful one, that's really pretty. So what if we did, let's see. Now what do we want to do? Let's see. Where do we want to pivot? Wait, that's nice. Let's see. That's beautiful. I've never played that before. Let's see. Let's see, one more time. Yeah. That's a pretty phrase. That's a beautiful phrase. I could even put a half step maybe. Let's see. I mean, this is the concept though. I'm going to make one of these every day. And the idea behind it is, let's take the things that we were taught to practice, that Barry shows us how to practice, and let's really actively try to come up with phrasing that's pretty, that we can play on any time you see a D7 chord. That's going to be our goal. I'm going to make a couple of these the next couple of days, and we'll just keep working on it. And the concept is, take 1 or 2 things that you've been practicing and really try to create phrases with them. It's really nice. It's really nice. It's the way to actually start implementing some of this stuff. Because the thing I love about Barry is nothing that he has you practice are things that you're not going to use. You use everything. You use everything he has you practice. He immediately takes something that he's telling you to practice and puts it in a song right away. Puts it in a change, puts it in a chord change, something. So that's what we have to be better at consistently doing. So hope this was helpful. I'm going to make a couple more of these in the next couple of days. So see you then. Till next time.